Okay, here we are. Going to talk to now a couple of gentlemen involved in the UPSL. You might know one of them, Alessandro Del Piero, a guy who's been a World Cup champion, legend at Juventus, captain of Juventus for a decade, won everything there is in the professional game. And Jeffrey Whalen, an entrepreneur, businessman in the sports space. He's been a studio executive at Walt Disney and Warner Brothers. Jeffrey and Alessandro met 10 years ago at a Formula One race and connected over their passion for our game, for soccer, and have been business partners ever since. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making some time for us.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Jason, for having us.
So I guess what we should start with, I'm obviously the part about meeting 10 years ago at a Formula One race and connecting over a passion for the game. Would one of you like to tell us a story of sort of how that happened, how you connected, and how you became partners in soccer in America?
I'll let Alessandro tell that story.
No, Jeffrey, your version is much
better. We're in Melbourne, Australia. Alessandro and I are in Melbourne, Australia. Alessandro was playing for Sydney FC at the time, and Australia as a country, they reported to me at Warner Brothers. We were invited by Ferrari to enter the pit at Formula One. We're there in the Ferrari pit, watching Fernando Alonso warm up the car at that time. And there's three of us there in the pit, right? We got the headsets on like you have, Jason. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, I look over to my left and I go, no, it can't be. That was the start of what became just, an incredible friendship and a business for both of us. And that's how we met.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to add a couple of things, So, and on our side, I was there with my wife, and I say, "Who the hell is this guy?" It's supposed to be only the two of us, and it should be something important, Anyway, we exchanged numbers, and a few months later, actually, I landed in LA. And Jeffrey was so nice. He offered me a tour of Universal Studios, amazing experience, with my children as well. So that's kind of thing that you appreciate beside of who you are. And then from there, the year later, I moved to LA and everything started.
Did you guys mostly talk about football when you first met, or how did those conversations go? Was it just casual, or was it business, or tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we were very involved of the emotion of the race, because we were on the box. So inside the box, it's not only on the pit lane. So they were engineer and mechanics going on. The race started in a few minutes. Everybody go crazy, went crazy. So that's important moment for them. So we were concentrating, and then after a while, we had a chance to talk, outside, of course, on the pit lane. But we talk about our respective lives, what we were doing, and that's how it started. And then everything moved on. Obviously, the next year when I moved to LA, and we had a chance to meet again, and then it was a click. We were really, really great connection with Jeffrey and I. Jeffrey is amazing professional in his job and everything, but he's also a big friend of mine, and he helped me and my family a lot in LA. When you have a big move like this with three little kids, it's always you need some support. Obviously, I have supports, but have somebody true like him and explain me what to do, how to do it, things, how to short line, the Italian way, that kind of stuff. But in a proper way was a massive help. And then we start our business together. We open up, I don't know, how many business we have now, Jeff? 4, 5?
I think we have 6 running now. We started with one, which was a really small little operation actually in Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Now we got 6 lines of business.
And they're not all football related, because I know you guys have had the restaurant going in LA, and you've got a couple different ventures. So you guys are doing everything, right?
Exactly. The oldest one is our academy that, started with ADP Academy now, and now became in the last 4 years, Juventus Academy, Los Angeles. And we ran the first clinic, as mentioned, and as Jeffrey mentioned, in Sydney. It was nice for me, be back and share what was the 2 years with the Australian people, and And from there we took that experience to LA, and we started our small business. Now we are in a good place. We are growing, and we love to see kids growing, because when you see somebody that is 6 years old and then become 10, 12, you commit with the parents, you grow up together. That's the thing. You grow up together. It's not just football or soccer. Okay, it's not just soccer. It's life. It's education. It's a lot of things that involve when you have small kids. And I personally experience, because I have 2 or 3 kids that are still quite young. But with other people, it's a different vibe, and it's beautiful. When the parents come back to you and say, well, thank you for what you've done to my kids. Thank you for the effort. Maybe sometimes not everything was perfect, but they recognize the heart that we put on what we are doing. Of course, professionality as much as a higher level as possible, but the how we mean, how we do things. That's the beautiful, when somebody recognizes you on that.
Yeah, and we certainly know how you do things, man. You're beloved in the U.S., and so my question to you is: was the plan always to come to the U.S.? I know you had a strong connection with Sydney. I don't know if you got any MLS offers towards the end. What was the plan with America for you, Alessandro?
I had American and MLS offers. Yes, I had. They didn't work out in the way that I would love. LA was always a destination. New York, Miami as well, Chicago. I grew up watching all the videos possible of Michael Jordan. So everything for me was magic in US. But LA was different vibes. But when I came in a vacation, it was always a different vibe, and it was kind of things. Well, maybe one day we're gonna go there. So with my family, we moved after Sydney for the idea to stay 2 or 3 years. Continue with the English. My English now is okay, but at that time it was horrible. So I say, well, I don't want that my kids live the same experience, because we are in a different world now, and they're gonna be in a different world. So for them, knowing English that they already started in Australia was the key. And then the plan of stay 2 or 3 years become 8 at the end of the day. So,
Wow. Okay, awesome. Well, let's get down to the football. So, guys, tell me about LA10. What's the overall goals there? What do you guys want to accomplish? What's the dream with LA10? Tell us.
Jeffrey, otherwise I'm talking too much.
No, not at all, man. Come on.
We do some Jeffrey and we do some Alessandro. That's how this
Yeah,
works.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to punt to Alessandro because it's just great to hear him talk about how the club began, and I'll sort of fill in some blanks. All right? You okay with that?
Great.
Yeah, go ahead, Ali, please.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was beginning, and we launched the club in 2018. We got the ownership of a former club that was already there, and we turned in LA10. And a lot of things connect with the number 10, of course. My number that I wear for all my life, and the restaurant that I have in LA, number 10. So everything is a number that we love. And we began this with the idea of the continuation of what we were building with the academy, because at some point there's in Europe we have this great things from my point of view that when you start an academy you get the possibility to pay for the first club, and if it's not the first club, maybe somebody other club, but there's many things, and I felt that there's a little bit of disconnection in the US system on that. You can perform well until 18 years old or 19 years old, and then you go through college. This is a different way. You go through college and you do other things, but what if somebody doesn't have a possibility to go to the college? What if something happened in that period of life that something that you can turn your life in the college and continue with the study for different reasons, many reasons that we don't know. So that's the idea, to give this possibility to the kids that they grow with us and they have the possibility to play in the first team, and then of course become something more, because during the years we had different things that happened to us that we become, a point to of aggregation of different culture. We have players from Europe, from US, Latin America, Australia. So it's a lot of things going on. Different backgrounds putting together, and this is beautiful, because this is what definitely sports in general, and soccer, of course, bring together. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter if you are black, white, yellow, or whatever you want to call the skin of your color, your religions. We don't care. We have only our rules, and soccer rules that are on the field, and the respect for each other. And this is the best thing that happened to us, including amazing story. We had we play for the first time, I guess. I don't know if the first time, with mixed women and boy and men together, because there were no rule that you have to enroll only men. So we have this possibility with the two former players, US players, that very well known, and that other incredible story with Omar Zanzour from Syria, that was a refugee from Syria. This is another incredible story that happened to us. But the things that we say proudly, I don't know, Jeff, what can you add more on this?
You can feel the club is about building players, helping them develop. It's about the game, but you can hear in Alessandro's words, it's also very emotional. It's very important to us in terms of the soul we enjoy with football. There's a lot to what we have tried to put together. We're on an incredible journey right now. It's far from over. We achieved some incredible results with some amazing players and coaches over the past 5 years we've had the club. We enjoyed what was remarkable and undefeated first outing. And then we managed to finish in the top 3 in the table and make the UPSL playoffs every year since. We took a break during COVID. Alessandro and I saw guys playing with masks on. It wasn't right. So we decided, hey, let's take a break, regroup. And so about 6 months ago, we decided let's put the club back into competition in UPSL. And that's how we got to where we are at this point in the journey. But this club is a lot about how Alessandro and I feel about the game, how we feel about what we can do for young people. We feel that LA is such a diverse city that we love the internationalization and the multiplicity of cultures that we have. At any point in time on our pitch, you can hear probably 5 or 6 languages being spoken. And none of the guys have any idea what the other guy is saying in Russian, in Spanish, in English, in Portuguese. No idea. But they play with heart. They get it. But for us, that is so important, the diversity of the club.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Just the way you guys are talking, you can tell you're passionate about the game. Is obviously, as international businessmen, you had opportunities to do stuff all across the globe. Is the U.S. market one that you guys took particular interest in? Is this one that was a high potential opportunity for you guys as opposed to maybe other areas? Because obviously the game is exploding here in the U.S. with the World Cup coming and all these other big events, Copa America, everything else.
Go ahead, Ali.
Well, US was my house for the last 8 years. I moved just last year in Spain, but I still have house there, still have the restaurant and the business with Jeffrey and a lot of friends. And of course, it's a great place to be. A little bit tougher now than before. A lot of things happen, not only in US, everywhere. But what we did with the academy and with the club was something moved from other reasons, not for business reasons. I mean, for me, of course, it was a personal reason because I have 3 kids. So give them the best situation properly without knowing very well the market. I know that LA is a huge place for soccer teams and competition. So it's South California in general is a great place. So we had the opportunity to fill in this place, and we enjoyed. And as we told you about LA 10 was a different vibes to give them the opportunity to go up and dream for something else, to have a second opportunity. I mean, as I told you before, we had players from Portugal, France, Syria, as I told you, Brazil, Argentina, as Jeffrey said, for real. Sometimes we shout each other in different languages, and we understand the look of the eyes, not what to say. But that's true, and that's amazing, because then at the end you have things on the field that doesn't matter which language you speak. But we had also the opportunity to develop some players with seven our former players, if I remember well. Jeffrey, correct me if I'm wrong, have gone to pro.
Yes.
2 in Europe, if I remember, 3 in US, 1 in Australia, 1 in America. Not all of them in the first division, but sometimes in second division. Some of these guys, they got injured for 2 years, and they didn't have the opportunity to play regularly with somebody or to train because they had to work in another place. So it become a place, where, well, this guy can give me an opportunity to go back on the field and to be fit again, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we are particularly proud.
And can you kind of tell us, Jeffrey, Alessandro, how that kind of works, that the development, the next step with LA 10? If I'm a kid trying out in the UPSL, I'm thinking if I play for Alessandro's team, maybe I get a try at Juventus. How does that exactly work?
Pipeline straight to Turin.
It depends if you speak good Italian.
Right. Exactly.
No. Wait, go ahead, Jeffrey, with this.
In the examples that Alessandro mentioned of players that have gotten professional contracts, we make it our aim to give them the very best coaching and development we can, 360 in all aspects of the game. We have opportunities for them to showcase their talent in Europe. Now, look, in Europe at second, third, probably fourth and fifth division, but nonetheless, we get them a showcase they haven't had before. And then we say, it's up to you, guy. It's all on you. Come on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're chaperones, sometimes they're not. We have relationships in a multiplicity of clubs. And when we spot somebody that's really talented, we don't hesitate to make the call. But first, we're really going through a 360 conversation with that player. Are you tactically ready? Are you physically ready? Are you mentally there? Do you have every aspect of your personal life organized? Or have you shown and you're ready to show the 110% commitment it's going to take to make this work? And most of all, are you super passionate about the game? I mean, I'll drill those guys on all those other questions, and Alessandro will step in and say, where's the passion, man? Yeah, it's got to be 120%, all passion, all heart, all out. So we've probably had more than 200 players come through the program, and to have these 7 men get these contracts was just amazing. So we work really closely with them. We'll make a couple phone calls where it makes sense, and they help themselves a lot as well. Yeah. Many of these players between 18 and 22 years old, they've got relationships, and so we can provide them with a reference. And it's a ready reference, and it's a good one. If Alessandro needs to make a call there or take a phone call as a reference, what better? What better? And we're really candid as well. When we get on the phone or on a Zoom, we're really candid with whoever on the other line about what we see, because our reputation in developing and sending players to pro contracts has got to be 110%, right? It's got to be perfect. Yeah. So we work really closely with our guys.
I'd like to ask you a question, if I could, on that. I mean, obviously, this is 6 years in now, so you've been doing this for a while with LA 10. It's one thing to put your name on the club, and I know initially people didn't know you had invested in this team, Alessandro, but it's sort of a different thing to actually put the infrastructure in place. I would love to hear you guys talk about finding coaches, right? It's player tryouts, one thing. Finding the right coaches to grow these kids, to develop them. How did you go about that? How did you make sure that they would reflect your principles and your attitudes about the game?
Mhm.
Well, this is a good point, but you can imagine. I mean, every aspect of this, including the one that you describe now, are quite difficult, of course. Because we put together the best thing, coaching staff, and even conditional coach. Sometimes with the we travel with a small bus sometimes, so we try to make it as much as professional as can be. And conversation with coaches, of course, we look on the background of these coaches, and we have people that can help us. We are not alone, because we strongly believe that as a team you can win also in our position. But we follow every step of that, and of course we have some help. We have sponsors that help us in terms of economics, for example, and always to thank, if they trust you. And of course we put our commitment and our knowledge on the field on that. And we try to do our best. Even if you have a lot of money, sometimes you don't win. I mean, City won the Champions League only last year. So don't expect us to win the UPSL every year. But as I told you at the beginning, what move us, it's something different. It's not a business point of view of this.
Mm-hmm.
We have different ideas on that. We're happy to share with people that are interested. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, we have an incredible idea, but we move in this direction because of our passion, first of all.
Yeah.
And then we know that we need to commit, but it's part of our life, part of what we love to do.
Is that your dream, Alessandro, to kind of create the pipeline that's in Europe, here in America, to help those kids, get to the next level easier or clearly?
Listen, for sure, Europe is the dream for everybody, and it's like this. It's the reality. We love the idea, of course, of to become a bridge between them, to be an opportunity for them. We are doing the same with the Juventus Academy. We have a program that brings the kids to Europe and twice a year. So and play with the Juventus team or other teams in Italy, and to compete. It's the experience that is very important. And then, as Jeffrey says, it's up to you guys. I mean, we can reach some point, and then it's up to you. But the commitment of these guys is unbelievable. Some of them, most of them, work during the day. They come at night, and they put all their effort. Even if they are tired, and everybody has a different needs and problems. So everybody is moved from a passion point of view, and this is the beautiful things about everything. So when something happened, like these 7 former players that got the possibility to be back or to reach a professional contract in different parts of the world, for us it's more than something to put on the stickers that would, we made it. No, it's what we exchanged with this guy. It's beautiful. And
yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges, Alessandro, you've come to face with the US soccer system? And what are some of the what have you learned in the US soccer pyramid so far? I know that's
in LA we need more fields. We need more soccer fields. There's no point. There's no fields. They cost so much. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable how much they cost. Sometimes with the academy, in the past we used to training everywhere, on the streets and don't get me wrong, it's something that I love. And all the time that somebody complains, say, be grateful that you have a piece of land where you can train, even if it's, I don't know if we can say shit.
Yes.
So, because I grew up in that way. I grew up playing in the street. I grew up, and this is something that is missing on the new generation. Something that's missing from my kids, for example. That when we play on the beach, when we play on the streets, it's a blast, because it's something that is not planned. So and it's challenging you. So that's what people doesn't understand. But beside that, that is very important from my point of view. It's very important. Of course, we need more fields, and we need more. You can't pay that much money sometimes for rent a field and to play sports. But this is what we're facing. This is a big problem in LA, especially in West LA, where we were born as a club. It's challenging for two reasons: because there's not enough fields, and there is a lot of people that want to play.
Yeah.
So we're facing this movement that's still growing, but we need more facilities. Yes, and the dream is having our own facilities. That's the dream. This is a game changer in everything. For our academy, for LA 10, it's a game changer because on our facilities, you can build something. You can build a gym. You can build a locker room properly. You can build the mood of the club, the philosophy of the club. That's the amazing dream.
That's that's growing up. My dad is from Europe. He's born in Germany. So one thing he always told me, he's like, how come there's no clubhouses in America for the football teams? Like in Europe, you go to the football team, you go to the cafe lounge, you take a shower, you connect with the boys, you go out to practice, you open the beers up after practice. I mean, like that stuff is standard. But over here, you're running around, you're looking for fields, you're booking fields, you're paying thousands of dollars. In Europe, that's something my dad always pointed out, that he didn't understand why there's no clubhouses, no facilities for these teams.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what you're saying. Probably especially in the big cities where there's not a lot of space, for sure. Maybe outside, in the countryside, is much better situation probably, but in big cities, it's a huge problem.
And speaking about the dream with LA 10, and we'll do one more serious question for you guys before we move on to some fun football stuff. But how does tell me a little bit more about how the UPSL fits in that dream? Obviously, we're super honored to have you guys, a super ambitious group. But I'm just curious what your guys' first reactions were to the UPSL and kind of like what you think of it. I understand, Alessandro, maybe you played a little bit in UPSL. Is that possible as well? If you want to speak on, okay, I can't say it. I'm being told we can't talk about that. But yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, our president will reply to you soon. Please go ahead, President.
Official communication.
My laptop. We had a match. I think it was Lake Forest. I'm not sure. I called Alessandro probably 4 hours before. I said, "Can you lace him up? Yes. Can you lace him up? Can you give us 20 minutes?" No publicity, no cameras. Down there it's really quiet. We were all by ourselves. Okay. And he called me about an hour later, and he said, "I'm on the freeway." Like, holy crap.
Wait, takes me an hour and a half. 1 hour and a half to reach. It was Long Beach. Where is it? I mean, was the traffic game was at 8 o'clock. Imagine taking the freeway at 6 o'clock, the 405.
Oh, okay. He must have really wanted to play.
Actually, 20 minutes. Maybe I have 5 minutes now.
So all right, end of the story. So he laces him up, and I'm looking at him saying, "You ready to go?" Said, "Okay, I'll go." The best part of this was we kept it really quiet. Alessandro walks onto the pitch. I'm telling you guys, the game stopped. Both my guys and who were playing, they really didn't have any idea, but his demeanor and walk and presence is so big. I'm telling you guys, everything stopped. The game stopped. It was just a fantastic moment, in both Alessandro's life and my life and career in football. And he gave the 20 minutes, and somebody tried to tackle him. Actually, he'll tell you that story. He got hit pretty hard at the half.
Alessandro, tell us, you scored 2 goals in 10 minutes, or what happened?
No, we get a red card straight away. So we play 10 against 11. I say, no, guy, no, we can't do that. we need to redo it.
Okay. So you had to play center defensive mid, or where did you end up walking in?
I was in a midfielder, I said, I hope to not run too much. but it was hard. I mean, every kids were playing hard and run fast. So the idea is we have to do everything in 5 minutes until the first 5 minutes, the other team, the other players start to ask each other and lose the control of the game. You go, it's him. So let's go in that window. If we score in that window, we can win the game. That's it.
In the moment of confusion when you first step on.
Yeah, it was an emotional move from us, not physical. But by the way, I'm more fit now than before, President.
Okay, so the comeback is possible.
Considering myself, I mean, give me a couple of days because I need to take a flight. So it's a bit longer than
he wants to play, Jeffrey. Let him play, Jeffrey.
You guys heard it first.
Shorter to get from Madrid to LA than on the 405 at that time of night, probably.
Probably, close.
You heard it first.
There you go.
That's beautiful. Right. No, but Alessandro, tell me about your first impression of UPSL. What the league, the teams, the level, entering your team into it, playing in it. Like, tell me everything.
As we offer opportunity to someone that, former players sometimes or things like this, also other clubs do the same things. So sometimes you're facing people that, play, for example, 10, 12 years in professional and they are in US for different reasons because they come from outside, or there are US people, there's US players, former players, they want to keep going. And it's a bunch of friends together like we did, We start with the idea, with friends each other. We find the right people. Okay, let's do it. But other clubs are older than us and keep going. They are well organized. I mean, it's lovely to see this kind of passion for the game and how much time the people put on it. So it's really love it.
Okay. How much longer you think before you bring some of your Italian friends over? We could have Di Natale, Balotelli, some of these guys, maybe Luca Toni. I know some of these guys are sitting at home. Maybe they need something to do.
Wow. I'm talking with Chiellini, but we cannot say that, okay? Because Chiellini is already in US. He's already in LA.
Yeah.
So it's an option. Well, we can't say that. So don't tell it to anybody.
Okay.
We when we put LA 10 together, we had a number of options at that time a couple of years ago. Some of the leagues that are in the US today at the third, fourth tier, even the second tier, they didn't exist then. And so we took a look around and we started to talk to Jan, and we knew Jan previously when he was with LA Wolves, right? And Jan was in a situation where he could really explain to us how the league was going to work. We felt really invited and welcomed by Jan and by UPSL to the league, and that was important to us as well, not because of any significant importance of who we were, but just the fact that as people who love the game, we felt really welcome. And we saw an opportunity to compete in the UPSL in a league that really was and always wanting to be more professional season in and season out. And we love what the league has done over the last 4 years to really put some policies, put some ways of behaving and being a club in place, both first and second division.
Yep.
And we were not disappointed. Look, we've had invitations from just about every second, third league in the United States to join, and we've turned every one of them down. We really feel that UPSL is where we can help our players develop. It's the right level of competition. It's the right spirit in the game. And one thing that's fun as well is when the guys walk onto the pitch in UPSL, many of them know each other.
Yeah.
They're going up against a bunch of guys. Maybe they played in high school, they played in college. If they didn't go to play to college, they played another team. And it's wonderful to see that camaraderie. They're not going up against a club that's been watching film for 4 months to see how. No, they're going out there. They're going out to have some fun. They're going out to perform.
Yeah.
And UPSL gives us that home. And so when we took this decision to come back to competition now in March, it was a no-brainer to come back to UPSL. First thing we did was call Jan and say, Jan, we're coming back.
Beautiful.
That's great.
We appreciate you guys. And like I said, we're honored to have you guys. And you guys are two top fellas. So appreciate all the kind words about the UPSL.
You got it.
I'm hearing if LA 10 makes the playoffs, Alessandro might come back for a playoff run, maybe.
Well, can hear you.
World Cup, UPSL National Championship. You know.
Look.
Well, now the pressure is on the president, so president, is up to you going to the playoff.
Yeah, it's
There you
true.
go.
Well, we got a couple of goals these next couple of years. You know, we'd like to find our way to the UPSL National Championship.
Yeah,
we took a run at it previous years, but we'd like to find the road. We'd like to find a way to that match. You know, that's important. And secondly, we'd like to go deep in the Open Cup.
Yeah.
That's a great showcase for our club and a great showcase for the league and our guys. So we got our mindset on coming back to competition, encouraging our guys to perform. But if there are two things that are really in our sights, it's get to the national championship. It's a process, right? It doesn't happen at the drop of a hat, but go deep in the Open Cup. And you know, from where we are, we got to beat a lot of teams to get to someplace important, even dreaming of going up against an MLS club, not the reserves, but, you know, the first team. So goal-wise, that's what we speak about as a group of managers and coaches. We haven't yet sort of laid that on the players. It's a lot of pressure. But let's see how we perform, and then we'll start to sort of open that curtain up. And you guys have a window into seeing if I've actually signed Alessandro to a player card. So you may want to watch that over the next couple of months. Just keep an eye on the player card.
Okay.
If you don't sign him up, I will. Since I run registration. So I'm gonna...
Men on the inside, making it happen.
But yeah, no, let's get into some fun stuff with Jason. Go ahead.
Well, I think we would be remiss if we didn't pick Alessandro's brain about a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to take up too much time, but you know, Alessandro, we've got the World Cup coming to this part of the world in a couple of years. There's a Copa America tournament happening this summer in America. Obviously, you've had a look at sort of the landscape. I'm sure you've watched how MLS has grown. There's a growing second division, third division. What is your thought about, you know, where American soccer is at this point, and how much more do you think it can grow?
Well, I'm seeing closely, of course, because I'm following the Serie A. You know, different players that play here. You know, from Pulisic to Weah to McKennie, and they're doing great, and they're great players. I mean, of course, the exchanging experience between playing in the US and playing in Europe is very important, because then you're facing on the international games players from every country. So it's good to extend your expertise, and you have a different players that Americans that are playing Europe now, actually. And plus, US is becoming more competitive now, of course, with the Messi that came in the US. You know, brings of course a lot of eyes and on the league, and it's very important, definitely, you know, to put elevate the competition, internally competition. I'm not a big fan of the playoff. You know, I grew up with the relegation and the promotion, so it's a different feelings. The regular season is different. I understand there's something on the other side that works perfectly economically for every sport in US, including major sports, and now I'm seeing growing all the time. As I told you, with the academy, we see how many kids are approaching the sports, and it's a beautiful sport. It's something that, you know, very easily, because you don't have to commit with a lot of things. So the movement is growing a lot, and it's important that it keep growing, because World Cup is a big opportunity. It's a huge opportunity. It's already happened in 1994. So I believe that you can't miss this one in terms of what will be next. So I think they already think about that, because it's when you do this kind of program, and when you have this big opportunity like a World Cup at home, it's a huge asset for the future. So it's going to be up to the MLS, to the other leagues, to the presidents of the clubs, and who is in charge of that. and they can make the real change of what is going to be the US in football for the next 10, 15 years. Of course, you have numbers, because you have how many 300 millions. Well, I don't know exactly. It's a lot of people and different ethnicity. That is another great asset, because you can really have this every different kind of experience and ideas on football, and this is an amazing asset if you want to build everything in sports. Of course, you have great sports already, like we don't need to mention how many sports are great in US, but football is definitely the sport of the world, and this is something that I think need to be reflect very, very, very deep every day.
And moving on from that, I mean, a little bit less about American stuff and what's happening in Europe right now. And you've already mentioned, Manchester City finally won their Champions League after spending all that money. It looks like they might be on their way to another one. Depends. I mean, Real Madrid is good. What do you see in the Champions League this year?
Till now, you already answered. Till now, the two bigger teams for sure are City and Real, and then Inter in performance very well as well, are quite strong, and now we are going to the hot moment. Now, March, it's a very key moment, March, April, in order, because you start to be a little bit fatigued of the season. You're still fighting for your own Liga or Serie A or Premiership you're going to fight with, and now it's not only hard tactical and then physical stuff, and the organization is, and the quality of the players is also mind, how you put your mind of what you have to do. So it's going to be very, very interesting for sure.
Good stuff. Thank you for that. I mean, Chris, that's good for me. You want to fire some quicker questions at Alessandro, see if we can get him to go off the top of his head?
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment.
No comment, you said?
I don't know.
No,
Shoot.
just some quick stuff. Yeah. I was also going to ask you. No, I was also going to ask you about what you think about Lazio and how they've been playing this year. They had a pretty good year last season. I think they're up against Barcelona, or they're in the Champions League this year. We actually just had two UPSL players from Inter Miami Academy and Miami Juventus, a center back and a forward. They're both brothers. They just signed for Lazio U19s. Can you tell me a little bit what you think about how Lazio are playing, and do you see an opportunity developing here for Americans to go to not just Juventus and AC, but also the other Italian teams as they start trusting more foreign American talent in their rosters as well?
Lazio is a great reality of our club. This year they have different issues and problems at the beginning, and they lost a little bit some points in the league. But now they're performing. They had a great game against Barcelona. They had a great game in terms of unity of the players. The coach is very expert. Is a great guy, and former Juventus and Chelsea. He won with Chelsea the UEFA Cup. So it's a person with expertise and knowledge. And now Italy become a very interesting place. I mean, people think that we are last on the table in Europe in terms of, because we don't have the same money than before. Money moved, to Premier League and PSG, Real Madrid, of course, and blah blah blah, and Bayern Munich, all the same things. And yeah, they have much more money than Italian teams for sure. And we are in the middle of different problems, definitely. But in this, Italian teams perform amazing. Last year, we had all the three European Cups. One team was in the final. Yeah. So it's a lot, and it's incredible a lot. It's not happen often. So this is a great starting point. and we are still first in the ranking for the next year. As Italy, it means in the way that our teams perform in the European leagues, and this is gonna allow us eventually, if we keep the first place, to have a next year instead of 4 or 5 teams in Champions League.
Yeah.
It's created, a lot of more money comes, and then you need to spend good money. So because if you spend it not the right way, it doesn't matter how many you have. But what I'm trying to say that it's not only the money that creates a team. It's much more. It's much more. And in this particular tough moment, the Italian teams discover new things in order to perform and fight against people that have more money than us.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. It's not going to be any easier. World Cup 2026 in the US. Who's taking that one home, Alessandro? Do the US have a good chance? Can the US win it?
It's okay. It's okay, Alessandro. You can say
Yeah,
it.
they can. Of course they can. Everybody can.
You're required to say yes to that question.
How about this?
Well,
Can Italy win it? That's a question.
That's,
Can Italy
I
win
want to go there. I hope also Italy have a chance to win, because lately we didn't have a chance to win. To be honest, we didn't been through the World Cup. So this is a very sad moment. We are the last one to talk now. In the last 8 years was a disaster, completely disaster. So they had the possibility, but it's really tough. To be honest, it's really tough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know how much MLS you watch these days, Alessandro.
I saw the opening game.
You saw the opening game. There's only been one game so far, so you're 100% record right now.
Yeah. So just the highlights, by the way.
Okay. You saw Messi, dribbling over the guy on the ground, all that good stuff.
That was funny.
Is it gonna be Inter Miami winning the whole thing? LA Galaxy, LAFC. Who's gonna win MLS Cup 2024?
Well,
LA Galaxy. Interesting.
I know he likes LA Galaxy.
How they are this year? I know that last year was struggling in the Galaxy. How they are this year? Much better. I mean, you are.
They've made some interesting signings, and they still have Ricky Puig. So
nobody is Del Piero level though, so it's still going to be difficult for them.
But for what I feel, it's something between Miami and LA.
Okay, LAFC.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Are you dreaming for that final? Galaxy or
no, not Galaxy. I think the other LA team. LAFC, Inter Miami.
Could be.
I'm curious, did you spend any time watching any Toronto games? They had Italians over there. Any connection to Toronto? Any love?
No, I had the chance to see. Yes, they're struggling a lot last year, so I'm sorry for that. There's a huge Italian community in Toronto, and it's sad, but the guys that I play there are really serious guys. They want to do their best. So I hope they're gonna have a great season this year.
Okay, I didn't know they had a big Italian community in Toronto. Was that one of the teams that
incredible Italian food in Toronto? Incredible Italian food.
Wow. Okay, so they were pushing the hardest to sign you then, Alessandro. Trying to get answers.
Player, you mean?
Yes.
As a player, yes, sir. As a player.
Did Toronto make you an offer?
Or coach.
Either one.
I mean, I'm doing the license coach. This is the last year. So in June, I become a coach also.
Okay.
Let's
see the market.
I'm throwing it like this. Okay, I'm throwing it there.
Listen, any teams need coaching vacancies? Right here.
I have no idea.
All right, guys.
You better be careful. You might end up coaching in Kansas City, somewhere you've never.
It's mean to Kansas City. It's mean to Kansas City.
History can be right everywhere. Remember.
Yeah.
History can be right everywhere. That's true. Can you name a favorite MLS player? Favorite MLS player you like to watch? Can't say Messi.
You mean now?
Now,
sure.
yeah.
No.
Well, I'm in love with Suarez. I mean,
Suarez,
I
okay.
think it's a great sign for them. I
Yeah.
hope he's going to be fit and healthy, because I think he was definitely one of the best number 9 that I ever saw.
Yeah. If
So
he gets
that's why Miami is a big thing for the final, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Let's talk. Have you watch a lot of U.S. men's national team games, Alessandro?
Well, he knows the players at Juve for sure. So
Yeah, I told you already. McKennie and
Yeah.
are doing great. McKennie has a great season this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah. He kind of fell out a little bit with Allegri. Now it looks like he's back in. Timmy Weah playing right wing back. Any other favorites on the U.S. men's national team, Alessandro? Any love you want to show any of those guys?
No, I think they have a very interesting team, to be honest. I enjoy the last World Cup that they played,
Yeah.
and it's a bit unlucky about what happened, but it's I think they had a good experience for the next one. They're arriving on the next one on the right age, not too young, not too old. Most of them, I guess. I mean, and this is a perfect opportunity. I don't know how much further they can go. Of course, they can go further, but they're gonna facing. World Cup is a World Cup, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no a lot of surprising in the World Cup. That's what I want to say. But there is surprises in the group stage and after. So, like happened in 2014 when you had an incredible tournament that end up with that crazy game with Team Howard save I don't know how many shots.
It's like 15 saves or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I create that great feeling in the US. I remember, hearing some of my American friends say, "Oh, we stopped at the airport to see that the extra time. We did that." That's the kind of thing that definitely have the soccer movement in US, and hope that kind of feeling and it's going to be a big World Cup. So we're going to see you there.
Any favorite memories from playing against the U.S. national team or any U.S. players that you can remember?
I mean, in 2006 when we won the World Cup, we drew against them.
Oh yeah.
And there was a
who can you remember from that team on the U.S.?
tough game because I came from the bench and we were 10 against 11. So it was crazy. But that team was strong.
Okay.
That team was definitely strong. I mean,
last question for you, Alessandro. Your 5-a-side team, your 5 players you would pick, regardless of age, in their prime. 5-a-side team of 4 players and a goalie. Who would you choose?
I mean, I think we're gonna lose because I'm taking only strikers and forwards. No defenders.
Nobody plays defense.
So it's a couple of guys like Maradona, Pelé, Cruyff, these kind of guys. Messi, Ronaldo, Cristiano.
He's got 7, 8, 9. This is a big team.
Yeah, some of them, it's still icons in the football. So unfortunately, some of them are not with us anymore. But it's a player that I grew up watching. Like Diego, like Johan Cruyff, and Platini, Zico. These guys were unbelievable. And in our country, of course, Baggio and Maldini. That's many of them.
Beautiful.
I did a long bench.
A long bench.
Long bench. I like it.
All right.
No limits.
That's it for me, Alessandro. It was nice connecting with you. We met actually at Soccer X.
Soccer X. I remember.
We took a photo together. Your wife asked me if I was a TikTok influencer.
Wasn't my wife, by the way.
Sorry. So, I was asked if I was a TikTok influencer. I am not, so I apologize. About that.
Hey guys, can I give a quick shout out to our sponsors that we really appreciate? Chow USA, our broadcast partner, fantastic company. They're going to broadcast all of our games live. We have a Morpho on board, a company that's doing some amazing training equipment for football players. Lemon Perfect, a wonderful hydration drink for us. And thanks very much to Hummel, our kit sponsor. We appreciate all that they do for the LA 10 Football Club. And thank you both, Jason and Chris, Alessandro, for so much generous time. We appreciate you guys, and we're looking forward to getting back on the pitch.